Hi, welcome back to Math 111. We are going to finish out Chapter 3 today. This is Section 3.5. Let me use my black pen, not my green one. And Section 3.5 is all about algebra and composition with functions. And I'm going to break this up into two pieces. And I'm going to start by talking about the algebra of functions. And let me see if I can make that autofocus work better. My document camera keeps losing its focus. Let's try that. So this video, this part one video, is going to focus on algebra. I'll make a second video to talk about compositions. So the algebra of functions really is just talking about how we use function notation to indicate addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division of functions. And your textbook on page 242 talks about this. But f plus g of x is what we're going to figure out how to interpret today. What that means is we're just going to take f of x, whatever f of x is defined to be, and we're going to add to it g of x, whatever g is defined to be. And so, for example, let's suppose that we let f of x be 4x squared plus 3x plus 2. I'm going to switch colors here, because I'm now going to let g of x be 2x squared minus 5x minus 6. Okay. F plus g of x. That's just another way of writing f of x plus g of x. But now we've defined f of x to be 4x squared plus 3x plus 2, and we've defined g of x to be 2x squared minus 5x minus 6. This part is how I define, is what I named. I gave the name f to that particular set of symbols. And I gave the name g to this set. So to add those together now, I just combine like terms as usual. The key to being able to do this is to not make it any harder than it actually needs to be. So let's take a look at another one here. Let's try subtraction. So we did addition. Now let's try subtraction. Let's stick with our same two functions. We're going to let f of x be defined as 4x squared plus 3x plus 2. We're going to let g of x be defined as 2x squared minus 5x minus 6. F minus g of x. It's really subtraction and addition are kind of the same thing. This is f of x minus g of x. F of x is 4x squared plus 3x plus 2. Now we're going to subtract g of x. The only thing we have to be careful of is that we need to subtract the entire g of x. It means we need to take this negative sign and distribute it all the way through. So this is going to be 4x squared plus 3x plus 2 minus 2x squared plus 5x plus 6. If you don't know why these are pluses, be sure and ask me, okay? Combine like terms and we get 2x squared plus 8x plus 8. Again, the key here is realizing two keys. Realizing that f minus g of x is shorthand for f of x minus g of x. And realizing that f of x is the same thing as 4x squared plus 3x plus 2. And g of x is the same thing as 2x squared minus 5x minus 6, because we said it was. No reason other than that. For this problem, we said that's what it was going to be, so that's what it is. Multiplication and division work pretty much the same way. So if I write f times g of x, nothing in between, that's f of x multiplied by g of x. We'll stick with our same two functions. So f of x is still four x squared plus 3x plus 2. And g of x is still 2x squared minus 5x minus 6. Use whatever your favorite technique is for multiplying those together. I happen to like stacking them up. So if you haven't seen this before, this is just like when you learn to do multiplication longhand in grade school. I put one polynomial on top of the other. I make a notation for myself that I am multiplying. And then I take my negative 6 from the bottom polynomial and I multiply it through the top one. So I end up with, I take negative 6 times 2 is negative 12. Negative 6 times 3 is negative 18x. Negative 6 times 4 is negative 24x squared. Do the same thing now with the negative 5x from the bottom polynomial. Multiply it all the way through the top one, lining up like terms, one over the top of the other. So negative 5x times 2 is negative 10x. Negative 5x times 3x is negative 15x squared. Negative 5x times 4x squared will give me minus 20x to the third power. One more time with my 2x squared. I get 24x squared plus 6x to the third plus 8x to the fourth. Now I just add down the columns. I get 8x to the fourth minus 14x to the third. I'm not gonna, 24 minus 24 is 0, minus another 15 is minus 15x squared minus 28x minus 12. And that is the result of multiplying f of x times g of x. 8x to the fourth minus 14x to the third minus 15x squared minus 28x minus 12. That is the simplified form of f of x times g of x. Okay, we've done addition, we've done subtraction, multiplication, division is next. Division shorthand looks like f over g of x. That is just a shorthand way of writing f of x over g of x. The one kicker here is we have to be careful because we can never have a certain number on the bottom of a fraction. And that certain number is 0. So we need to make sure that we are aware that my denominator fraction cannot be 0. So in other words, this expression will be undefined at the number or numbers where the function g is equal to 0. So for the functions I have at hand, this is going to be 4x squared plus 3x plus 2 over 2x squared minus 5x minus 6. Now, if that is a, remember, rational expression, and if that rational expression would simplify, then we would simplify it. This one will not, and so we are done. Okay. That is a basic overview of the algebra of functions. Please do take a look at the textbook and work through those examples and then work the homework and post any questions you might have to the forum. I will see you all again soon.